Soon after the Soweto uprising, in which thousands of students participated, leading to a lot of police brutality, many students were forced to leave the country. They came into exile to frontline states. The African National Congress then decided to set up a secondary school in exile. The government of Tanzania was very willing to provide facilities here.
Mazimbu was an old sisal estate near the town of Morogoro in Tanzania. The new school, which arose on these 3,000 acres, is called the Solomon Mhlungu Freedom College, SOMAFCO.
The facilities were pretty basic then. As I said, there were some old buildings belonging to the sisal estate. These were in pretty bad repair. There was no water here. There was no sanitation, no electricity. So the first 18 months or so were used to renovate the buildings and to clear the ground and to prepare for a big construction program, which started early in 1979. This program has to date produced a vast number of buildings. Apart from the secondary school and the primary school, we have a daycare center, we have a nursery school, we have a youth center, a maternity center, we have a large farm which is making us self-sufficient in food. We have a carpentry factory, a clothing factory, a cobblery. And then we have service industries, a supplies section, a motor mechanics service place. We have a very thriving photo laboratory, a transport section, an administration section. So it's really, today, Mazimbu is a small town.
Last night I indicated that this is not an ordinary college, and I meant it. This college, or rather the idea behind this college, was to prepare the South African youth, deprived of so many opportunities inside the country, to prepare them to play a role not only in our struggle, but a role in future.
The 1976 rebellion of the students was one of the important landmarks in the history of our struggle.
My name is Tlulu Muhlati. I'm part of the SOMAFCO Trust. It's a youth development organization, particularly through education. We are here in Tanzania to visit the Solomon Mhlungu Freedom College, which was established under the auspices of the ANC in 1978. So we're just here to, as part of preserving and promoting the heritage, to look at this place that was built during South Africa's darkest hours. For 2010, what we decided to do is identify young active citizens, so people who are involved in certain initiatives which support youth development and also assist the development of the country in a small way or a big way. So we had an essay writing competition, and the winners were those people who told us about their involvement in certain initiatives, whether being involved in them or running the initiatives.
I'm a media officer at the Education Labour Relations Council, and we actually manage one of the projects by the Department of Basic Education, which is the Quality Learning and Teaching Campaign.
I founded Tomorrow's Keepers, that's the name of the organization. And the rationale behind it was to help pupils, grade 11 and 12 pupils from Limpopo province, to transition smoothly from high school to varsity, because there are shocks that first year students from disadvantaged backgrounds experience.
Well, I'm just interested in learning about the challenges that like education stakeholders have in Tanzania in achieving quality education.
I'm looking forward to meeting people from this side of the world, Tanzania, the Tanzanian youth, just to get an understanding of how it is that they think, what drives them, what makes them to look forward to the day and wakes them up, and what they get excited about.
It's to inspire the people already doing something for the benefit of other people apart from themselves, is to also preserve and promote the heritage of Somafco. So we know people will now know a bit more about the place, what we managed to achieve without as many resources as we do have now in South Africa. And that's basically building on that heritage of Somafco. That's us taking the baton and taking it forward with everyone we're here with.
The pioneer of this tour was Oliver Tambo. Oliver Tambo was detailed by President Chief Albert Luthuli to come to Tanzania to establish the first office of the ANC outside South Africa. R Tambo was the deputy president of ANC then. So when the government of South Africa, the apartheid regime, decided to ban all political parties in South Africa, so it became very clear that the voice of the people was shut. So the ANC decided to say, let us establish now an external mission so that we can further tell the world the plight of the people in South Africa. So that was the reason why Oliver Tambo was sent abroad in 1960. So he came here. He was received by Baba wa Taifa, Julius Nyerere, who was then the prime minister. Because Tanzania at that time was not yet an independent country. But it shows you how strong he was to take such a risk to harbor enemies of the Western world at that time. So we established the ANC office here in Tanzania in 1960. Tanzania then got its independence in 1961.
This is the famous wall introducing Somafco, this Mazimbu, and it captures the last words that Solomon Mahlangu uttered just before he was hanged, 1979. And I think the college was named after him in part because he never managed to realize the dream of being fully developed through education, and so this was we were going to remember him through his sacrifice and so on, but also to fulfill the dream that he himself never realized.
Actually, my expectations were like when we came here, the most important thing was to actually collect the experience and go back home and implement the particular experience that we shall have actually collected. But I was highly touched by the community of Somafco, because I realized that projects are possible irrespective of where you are operating. Our country, South Africa, is very advanced and it is very advantaged in the sense that if you can check Somafco, it was in a foreign land, it was in Tanzania, but those leaders of ours managed to make sure that they implemented the projects, and those projects were very successful. So the experience that I actually gained, I think is going to help me more in South Africa to make sure that I inculcate the information and the experience that I have collected to the young people in South Africa, and make sure that I bring awareness to them, to make sure that they understand that from nothing you can actually create something.